Not long ago, Israel Adesanya was untouchable. A striker so precise, so calculated that he made the most dangerous division in the UFC look like his own personal playground. But in the fight game, nobody stays on top forever. And after dropping his crown, suffering several setbacks, Adesanya is now a man at a crossroads. Because this isn't just about another comeback. This is about whether the last Stylebender can write one more legendary chapter, or if the story of Israel Adesanya is closer to its end than we think. This is the return of Israel Adesanya. Israel Adesanya is widely considered one of the greatest middleweights of all time, and at his peak, one of the best pound-for-pound fighters in the UFC. For 4 straight years, he ruled the middleweight division and looked completely untouchable. His kickboxing background gave him a striking style that fused precision, agility, and flawless footwork, creating highlight reels that felt more like art than combat. Along the way, he outclassed some of the best strikers the sport has ever seen: Anderson Silva, Robert Whittaker, and even his greatest rival, Alex Pereira. Between April 2019 and April 2023, Israel Adesanya was nearly untouchable. In that span, he racked up 8 title fight victories, a run capped off by a career-defining moment when he finally stopped longtime kickboxing rival Alex Pereira to reclaim the middleweight crown. It was the kind of redemption that cemented his place in UFC history. But fast forward to 2025 and Adesanya hasn't had his hand raised in over 2 years. What started as a triumphant second reign came crashing down at UFC 293, where Sean Strickland shocked the world by taking his belt. And things only spiraled from there. A submission loss to Dricus du Plessis, a brutal knockout at the hands of Nassourdine Imavov, 3 straight defeats, each one more devastating than the last, leaving one of the UFC's most dominant champions at the lowest point of his career. For the first time in years, Adesanya found himself completely on the outside of the title picture, with a record of just 1-4 since 2022. That's why, after the Imavov fight, whispers of retirement weren't just speculation, they felt like a real possibility. But Adesanya isn't conceding. In fact, he's already back in the gym. Speaking to Sun Sport, he admitted, "That was my first sparring back. I took some time out to just chill and let the brain relax. And yeah, I just knew straight away, I've been itchy for a while, bro. I'm ready to go." At the same time, he hasn't committed to what comes next. Not long after the loss to Imavov, when asked about his future, Adesanya admitted he doesn't know where things go from here. Outside the cage, he's been putting more energy into his media presence, especially his YouTube channel, which is now grown past 1.2 million subscribers. There, he shares training clips, reaction videos, and podcasts where he speaks openly about his career and what might be ahead. And even without a confirmed fight, he's been active in the gym over the last few months, training with Alexander Volkanovski and Sean O'Malley, sharpening his grappling under coach Ozzy Dugobolov, and pushing through a brutal workout alongside David Goggins. So, the last Stylebender isn't going quietly, but the road back won't be easy. After UFC 319, the middleweight division looks different, with Khamzat Chimaev now on top after dismantling Dricus du Plessis to claim the belt. Behind him is du Plessis himself, who rose fast, winning the title in just his 7th UFC fight, beating Sean Strickland at UFC 297, defend 305, the crown to Chimaev. At number 3 sits Nassourdine Imavov, the rising star who only joined the UFC in 2020, but has already knocked off names like Jared Cannonier, Brendan Allen, and most recently Adesanya himself. Then there's Sean Strickland at number 4, another rival with unfinished business against Adesanya. And finally, at number 5, Israel Adesanya. For now, he's just hanging on to that spot. But with 3 straight losses, his next fight won't just determine his ranking, it could decide whether Adesanya still belongs among the elite. And that brings us to the question of Adesanya's next fight. Nothing is official yet, but a few names stand out as potential opponents. Starting with Strickland, his upset win over Adesanya at UFC 293 is already etched into history as one of the most shocking results the sport has ever seen. On that night in Sydney, Strickland didn't just beat Adesanya, he completely shut him down, neutralizing his striking, dropping him, and walking away with the belt. After winning the title, he immediately lost it to Dricus du Plessis, scraped by Paulo Costa in a lackluster decision, and then lost again to du Plessis. To make matters worse, a suspension following an altercation outside the cage has left Strickland sidelined, and Adesanya now seems uninterested. Another option is Paulo Costa, and once again, it all comes back to history. Back in 2020 at UFC 253, Costa walked into the Octagon undefeated and left with his first career loss, after Adesanya brutally dismantled him. Now, the timing feels different. Adesanya has lost some of the aura that once made him untouchable, while Costa has gained a bit of momentum after his win over Roman Kopylov at UFC 318. For Costa, this would be more than just a fight, it's redemption. And for Adesanya, it's another chance to prove he still belongs at the top. But beyond Strickland and Costa, there are other doors Adesanya could walk through. A rematch with Nassourdine Imavov is one of them. Beating the man who handed him his 3rd straight loss would silence the decline narrative and prove that knockout was nothing more than a bad night. Then there's Dricus du Plessis, offering both a path back to the title and redemption for that submission loss, a fight that would test whether Adesanya can reclaim the dominance of his first reign. Then there's Khamzat Chimaev, the toughest challenge of all. His relentless wrestling could break Adesanya, but beating him would bring the belt back and instantly restore his legacy. For now, the exact timing and location of Adesanya's return are still unknown. He's hinted at wanting to fight as early as autumn, maybe September or October, with Abu Dhabi floated as a potential stage. Whether that materializes or not, one thing is clear. This comeback carries more weight than any fight of his career. Because at 35 years old on a 3-fight skid, the next time Israel Adesanya steps into the Octagon, it could go one of 2 ways. It might be the final nail in the coffin of a legendary run, or the spark that reignites a redemption story for the ages. Either way, the return of Israel Adesanya will be must-see TV. Israel Adesanya isn't just coming back, he's coming back with something to prove, a chip on his shoulder, a mission to reclaim his throne, and the chance to remind the world why he was once untouchable. But I want to know what you think. Who should Adesanya face in his return? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like the video and subscribe for more videos just like this.